have a Rolls Royce.
Who gave you?
So what? Nobody gave me a Rolls Royce.
You bought it?
Of course. So what?
With what money?
Which money? So let me tell you. Femi, before Hamatan, there was cold. I didn't come from the same background with Rotimi Amaechi. I didn't
were you rich before?
Not to me rich. I didn't come. As a student, I was in a Mercedes Benz. As a student, I was in a Mercedes Benz. My father was a general manager of so many companies.
So you came from a rich background?
I will not say too rich for the Dangotes. But I think I had a small background. Yes.
But Mr. Amaechi challenged you.
No,
he said you have houses everywhere.
I'm
Where are these houses? The subject of your wealth.
I'm coming to that, sir. So that Nigerians will hear. I've not denied here. His anger, he saw that I used Rolls Royce. So what? It was not given to me by a contractor who was doing job with me. No. A contractor gave him. A contractor gave him. That was bribe. You took from a contractor. I will not do that.
Mr. Amaechi said he's not corrupt.
No. One of the most corrupt people. I will come to that. And I will come.
Are you corrupt, Mr. Wike?
What do you mean the word corrupt? No court has found me guilty to be corrupt. When you say the word corrupt. But if you say, well, I like money, hold on. Nobody can do without money. You cannot say because I say, I need money to solve this, therefore I'm corrupt. No. I need money to pay my children's school fees. I need money to take my family's health care. Does that make it to be corrupt? No. But when a man comes in the public to say, I don't like money, you know that man is a big liar.
That was Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Abuja and former Governor of Rivers State, responding to another former Governor of Rivers State, Chibuike Rotimi Amaechi. In that video, you saw how he emphasized that Amaechi was given a Rolls Royce. And from the way he described it, the gift was from a contractor. In other words, saying that gift smelled corruption, obviously. That's the interpretation. Whereas his own Rolls Royce is not a product of corruption. His own Rolls Royce, the Nyesom Wike's Rolls Royce, is the product of his own family background, coming from wealthy family, and perhaps from his own hard work. That was the interpretation that you can take away from Nyesom Wike in his defense of his ownership of a Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce is one of the topmost kind of luxury vehicles you can get anywhere in the world. And Nyesom Wike is proud to say that he owns one. While he interpreted that, the interpretation from his own analysis of Amaechi's being gifted a Rolls Royce by a contractor and his own, which is purely perhaps more transparent than that of Amaechi. There is something troubling about a minister of the federal government owning a Rolls Royce, even if he owns it legitimately. That is because he comes from a very wealthy family, because he has been doing, he's a businessman who is very rich. Okay? There's something troubling about it. This is because in a country like Nigeria, You are talking about a nation that is battling with a lot of poverty, hunger, and starvation. So there's something wrong about it that a minister will admit to owning a Rolls Royce, cruising around with a Rolls Royce, when the country is in a sorry state. One, it is a symbol of insensitivity to the suffering masses of Nigerians. Now, if you're a businessman, you are not in government, it's a different thing altogether. But owning a luxury vehicle in a country ranked as the poverty capital of the world send a message of elitist detachment and lack of empathy towards the complaining majority of the people who say that things are difficult with the state of the nation, with the state of the economy. And it also contradicts public service ethics, if you understand what I mean. What I mean that public office is about service and humility. There is nothing humble about using a Rolls Royce. It's a show-off vehicle. It is not. It's a vehicle of intimidation. So having somebody in a government, especially a government that is giving the impression that things are difficult, that they may empty treasury and all that, and that people should tighten their belt. It doesn't serve well that a minister in that government will have a luxury vehicle for personal glorification, even if it is legitimately his vehicle he bought with his own money because he comes from a wealthy family and because he has been a shrewd investor. There are some things that are not supposed to be associated with public service. Ostentatious lifestyle is not supposed to be part of it. If you want to be in public service, when you are doing things like that, in fact, you are not supposed to show it. Even if you have such a vehicle, you don't use it so that it doesn't give the wrong impression that the people are really, that you are uncaring, your government is uncaring. That's one thing that must be noted. And this creates public distrust, because extravagant lifestyle by public officials in a corruption-prone nation like Nigeria reinforces the public perception. Even though he has explained that he's from a wealthy family, that his father owned properties. He said he was talking about Ikwere Street or something like that in Port Harcourt, his father owned properties. There are people who still not believe him because of the history of Nigeria with corruption. So it sends a wrong message even to Transparency International and other corruption assessment organizations, both local and international. When you have somebody in government admitting that he owns a Rolls Royce, even if it was not gifted to him by a contractor, but he bought it by his own money. So such ostentatious lifestyle, many people also see it as wasteful, that you are having such a vehicle and running it through the streets where people cannot feed, where hunger and starvation spring. That is not a good impression. It doesn't bode well with a whole lot of people who are going to look at it, that this is wasteful, this is ostentatious. Why should this be allowed to happen? Why should you do this, given the present state of the Nigerian economy? And the majority of Nigerians are suffering. So, and you can see, imagine what that message sends to to National Orientation Agency. How do they defend this? How do they defend it across Nigeria that a minister owns a Rolls Royce? Okay, the last time somebody was so proud to talk about ostentatious lifestyle was Festus Oketiebo in the First Republic, who displayed his wealth on your face, and they didn't. It wasn't a good sight. If you go and read our history, Oketiebo was associated with corruption. Okay, and if you listen to Nyesom Wike, and that is this thing, he was saying that Amaechi is corrupt. Okay, but when Sheikh Okubale asked him, Nyesom Wike himself said, "Are you corrupt?" Nyesom Wike said, "No, I'm not corrupt." He said he's not corrupt, and then he began to define what corrupt. He said no court has convicted him of corruption. Even when you and I know that, I don't think that there's any court that has convicted Amaechi of corruption. So that's why some of these things, it doesn't bode well with the public. Okay, and driving a Rolls Royce, it promotes materialism over service, and it's not a good thing, a good example for the youth. That the youth may think that public service is a place to get rich, it's a place to be ostentatious, it's a place to display wealth. That's not what public service is. If you want to show that you have money in public service, you can borrow example from Donald Trump. Donald Trump became a president of America as a billionaire. Do you know why he is different from others? Because Donald Trump came from a very wealthy father, a very multi-millionaire father. Are you getting it? And himself became a billionaire, richer than his own father. But once he became president, Donald Trump refused to collect salary. You can go and check me. Donald Trump is not collecting salary. When he was president in his first term, he didn't collect salary. But because the Constitution does not allow you to do pro bono work in America as president, Donald Trump collects a symbolic $1 as his annual salary, $1. But he didn't collect any money. But look at others like Barack Obama, who didn't come from such a background like you. They collected salary. So if you are from a wealthy family and you want to display symbolism of your wealth, you can, in public service, you do like Donald Trump. Don't collect salary, don't collect any emolument, don't take any retirement benefit because you're already wealthy. Okay, so there are some things really that we can learn from Donald Trump if you are from a wealthy family or you made a lot of money like Donald Trump. Okay, since Wike is saying that he's not like Amaechi, who is from a poor family, literally, and himself is from a well-off family and he's in government. So if you are in government and you're well-off, instead of buying Rolls Royce, you can also contribute to the society by not collecting salary, by forfeiting your pensions like Donald Trump is doing, to show that you really care for the public. And another thing this thing does is that in a country with high unemployment rate and high inflation, display of wealth breeds resentment, anger, and class division, even leading to increased criminality. Because people will feel that they are being shortchanged. Even if the vehicle, you bought it legitimately from your business, but people will not interpret it that it is your own money. They feel it's the public's money. That doesn't bode well. That doesn't add any any advantage to government. It brings a lot of disadvantage to the government. People get resentment. There's a lot of resentment towards that kind of behavior. Okay? And again, it also undermines Nigeria's global image. For example, Nigeria is a country that is having problem in balancing its budget. So it borrows a lot of money. From time to time, we go to IMF, to World Bank, to all these institutions. We are looking for money. We don't have money. We can't solve our problem. Our budget can't balance and all that. How does the international community look at us? While we are struggling to get loan from these countries, ministers are using Rolls Royce. How do you think the image of the country is perceived? How the image of Nigeria in that kind of situation, where you are going cap in hand looking for loans, and then the people that you are seeking loan from, they are ambassadors. Their embassies know that some ministers are using Rolls Royce. What does that tell us? What do you think they will be talking about? Even if they don't tell you in your face. That is not a report that any government supposed to look forward to. Okay, because it's going to be a damning report. They may give you the loan, but they know that they will assume that you are on a serious nation and on serious government. If you have such wealth and you are still coming to us to come and borrow money. Then finally, you can look at it from the perspective that it contradicts government's austerity measure. You can, several times President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has talked about that Nigerians should tighten their belt. Okay? The subsidy removal has caused hardship. Just tighten your belt. It is a temporary suffering. What you are passing through now is like a pregnant woman. By the time she delivers, everybody will be okay. So, but why are some ministers not waiting for the pregnant woman to deliver? They are already enjoying, they are already having their joyful moments. And you are telling others to tighten their belt. Okay? So it invalidates the moral authority of the government to tell other Nigerians, especially the long-suffering Nigerians, that they should continue to tighten their belt. They will think that the government itself is a joke. Of course, we know. I keep on telling people, if Peter Obi was the president of Nigeria, there is no way he will not be using the same plane that was left behind by President Muhammad Buhari. Unlike Tinubu that has acquired more planes, brand new planes, Peter Obi would have refurbished that of the one left behind by Buhari. So there is some things that when you see them, you may not be totally surprised. Maybe because even Tinubu himself is not living the same lifestyle that he's advising Nigerians to live. He changed his private jets, the presidential jets, and they refurbished his the house in Lagos that the president stays when he visits Lagos. I think that's Government House Lagos or something like that, or State House Lagos. They have been reformed. All those things. If you were Peter Obi, knowing the state of the nation, Peter Obi, what he will do is just whenever he's in Lagos, he will prefer to be in his personal house instead of bothering about refurbishing the Government House for the president. Okay, so these are some of the things when you look at it, it doesn't really add up. But whatever is your position, what is your view on the Mr. Nyesom, that his Rolls Royce is more cleaner because he bought his own Rolls Royce. Therefore, it has more integrity, more honesty than that of Amaechi, who he alleged was gifted a Rolls Royce by a contractor. What do you think? How do you place that in pari passu to the what I have just talked about, that even though he said that he bought it with his money, okay, that it wasn't a product of corruption being gifted by a contractor. I have said that it doesn't look well. It doesn't look good given our history of corruption in Nigeria, that somebody, a minister, is having a Rolls Royce. But whatever is your position, maybe you have a better idea. You may think that it doesn't really matter. It's his money. He can spend it anyhow he likes. Nobody should raise issue about that. Whatever is your position, let's hear from you at the comment section. Thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.